It may be hidden online under some buttons. So if I'm out to EBSCOhost or ProQuest, I may need to look to find the DOI. It could be under some buttons. Look at the labeled article, cross-ref, publish med, or some other vendor name. It could be hidden underneath some of those type buttons out there on EBSCOhost or ProQuest. When I'm referring to the DOI, I use it in all caps. When I'm using the DOI, it's all lowercase. So here's some samples with the DOI. Now, one of the advantages with the DOI, when you're out there looking for sources, you go out to EBSCOhost or ProQuest and you're finding sources, is the fact that once I have a DOI, it simplifies how I'm going to set this up on this page. And that is a big advantage. Okay, again, I have my author, last name, and then first initials with his middle initial on this one, followed by a comma. This one has multiple authors. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 authors on this first one. So notice that I list all 4 authors. I separate the last author from the others by the ampersand. I do not spell out the word and. I use the ampersand for APA. In this particular one, I have a month. And when I have the month, I have to give it. So it's July, it's 2001, July. The Deterrence of Ethical Behavior, a study of auto salespeople, general business ethics, volume 32, issue 1, page numbers, period, and then here's my DOI. Now be very careful. DOI, and then that number. It's not as long as typing a URL or other web address, but it can be long. There can be no spaces after that colon or before the colon. No spaces allowed. Okay. Second one, McQueen A. Again, I have a month, so 2004, July, and then my title of my journal, volume, issue. This one here, I don't have a page number for. Oh, yeah, I did. 101 to 108, excuse me. My line shifted. And then I have my DOI. Okay? Notice that this DOI is longer than the first DOI. That's why I say some of these can be long. You can, through EBSCOhost or ProQuest or some of these sources, do a copy and paste this DOI over there. Just make sure that you keep your font sizes the same as what's in the rest of the paper and that you do not include a space in there. The third one here is Thompson H.A., again with a month in there. We have a journal with 26.3 with the issue and volume. And then I have a page number and then the DOI. Let Word decide whether it will fit on the line or not. Notice that I do have additional space after that 403 on this particular one, but I let Word do the shifting around to see where it needs to be. I didn't do that. And you want to notice it's a little difficult on a PowerPoint, but you want to notice that each of these are using what's called hanging indent. Hanging indent. That is a requirement of a reference entry for APA. You must use hanging indent. Okay? For electronic sources, I want to begin with a regular source. So if I have an electronic source, and I don't have a sample of an electronic source for that type of source, find that type of source as though it's not electronic and start with all those basics. Right? Then you do that for the fixed media, and then we add the additional information for the electronic source to find it. I want to include page numbers when I have them, and I will use P or PP for the newspapers only on the reference page. All other pages out there for the journals, I will just put the numbers themselves. I will not add the P or the PP. If a DOI has been provided, you will give it. That's the other catch with the DOI. If I have it, I am to give it. I am to use it. If no DOI, I need to find the home page. So say I've gone out to EBSCOhost. I've picked up an article from a journal, and that journal article, for some reason, does not have a DOI. Now I need to take and leave EBSCOhost, go out to the home page of that journal, and find the journal article out there. and use that web address. I cannot use the web address from EBSCOhost. Database is not generally required out here for this. Project Moose database or website would be something unique in that. Retrieval rate is not needed, again, unless I'm using a wiki. But keep in mind, Wikipedia is not a valid academic source. Okay. Check with your instructors. So some more examples. These have examples with volume and issue. The Bartholomew, 1981. The title of the article, Kansas Quarterly. Now this one only have a volume. I have a volume, but then they have, for the issue, 3-4. So notice that all of that has to stay in the parentheses, because I have a double issue. Okay? And then my page numbers. The Kafka source, the Demon of Writing. I have on this one here a volume only. I do not have an issue. So if I don't have an issue, I just don't worry about it. Okay? But keep in mind that the volume has to be in italics. That number has to be in italics. That's what triggers to a reader of an APA paper. This is a volume, not an issue. Okay. Then the Strainer one. We had this one from the William and Mary Quarterly. This one here has one of these items with additional information. This is the third series. Notice that it is in square brackets after the title of the journal. So some additional information will go in square brackets after the title of the journal.